The Northland is an amazing place, and we're hitting the road to show off your town. Today, the spotlight's on the Grand Rapids area. Your town starts now.
Welcome to Lake Country. We are taking our show on the road again for the third trip in our Your Town Summer Series. Today we're broadcasting from the beautiful Grand Rapids area in Itasca County, and we are so excited to show you everything it has to offer. Good evening, I'm Briggs LaSavage.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thank you for joining us. How fantastic is this setting here
Couldn't
this
be
evening?
better today. Beautiful weather, beautiful lodge.
It's perfect out here. Yeah, we've got so much to show you on our tour of Itasca County here this evening. We've got some hidden gems. We're going to introduce you to the owner of a small resort, a family-run resort, and show you all of the work that goes into making that happen for the guests.
Yeah, it truly is an incredible amount of work we learned. All of that and a whole lot more is coming up in this special Your Town broadcast. But first, we want to give you a little introduction to the Grand Rapids area in case you're not super familiar. The city of Grand Rapids itself is right on the Mississippi River, which helped it become a major logging town. That industry allowed employers like the Blandin Paper Mill to open back in 1902.
Over time, businesses like that help the area grow. 11,000 people now call Grand Rapids home. That's a 42% jump from 2000 census data. And while Grand Rapids and the surrounding communities are home to many, its beautiful landscape and lakes are also a vacation destination for thousands of people every single year. And speaking of lakes, you might be wondering where we're broadcasting because being here in person and I'm sure on TV, it looks incredible. We've got some awesome views here.
Yeah, we sure do. This is the Sugar Lake Lodge in Cohasset, a family-run business that's been in this area for years. Abby Oxborough is the owner and general manager here. Her family built and opened this resort in 1993. She says their goal was to be a destination for people, offering a taste of the outdoors through golf, pickleball, tons of lake activities, and a pool. She says it's their intimate feel that keeps both guests and staff coming back.
The best part of the job is the interactions. We have such good connections. Our staff is incredible. They've been returning for 4 or 5 years at a time, so they get to know everybody. It's just it's a different environment. It's so welcoming in such a community.
Tons of people hanging out behind us here tonight, too. We've seen people paddleboarding, kayaking, a whole lot of fun. And a big thanks to the folks at Sugar Lake Lodge for hosting us tonight.
Yeah, it feels like we're on vacation. We have so much more to get to here, including a fishing competition that I'm in now with Hunter McCullough that I didn't know I was going to be a part of, but I am now. That's all coming up in just a little bit. First, we want to check in with Ryan Half back in the studio for a look at today's top stories. Ryan?
Thank you, Dana Briggs. Yeah, the Minnesota Lottery just announced a record-setting payout to the state's environmental and natural resources after its second highest sales year ever. Of the $88.9 million given to programs dedicated to protection and preservation of the environment, about $51 million of that went to the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, $18 million to the Game and Fish Fund, and another $18 to the Natural Resources Fund. Other beneficiaries include over $100 million to the state's general fund and over $1 million to programs that help treat gambling problems. To our north, hundreds of wildfires are raging in parts of Canada's Northwest Territories. Officials are now calling it a crisis situation. They have issued evacuation orders and declared a state of emergency as the flames threaten the capital city of Yellowknife. The state of emergency declaration will help bring in resources there. With more than 230 active fires, an air quality alert has been triggered across our area. And with that alert, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency is advising residents here to limit their time outdoors. Here is a look at the air quality forecast today across parts of the Northland. MPCA officials say the winds both today and tomorrow will bring more smoke from the Canadian fires into our area. Jesse Carr from the Minnesota Department of Health says scientists are still working to figure out all of the components when it comes to this unhealthy air.
That's why the Pollution Control Agency has, invested so much in their forecasting, and we are, trying to be more proactive around these alerts. So there's so much we don't know, and when we don't know, it's really best to act with caution.
To help those who fall into those sensitive groups, Carr tells us wearing an N95 mask can help trap some of those particles. To learn more about our forecast, let's send it back out to Grand Rapids for our special Your Town show, where we find meteorologist Dave Anderson tracking those conditions. Dave, how is the weather for you guys right there by the lake?
This weather is picture perfect, Ryan. It's good to be in the Grand Rapids, Coleraine, Cohasset area, and throw in Hill City and Reamer as well. Deer River, great neck of the woods. Even we Ely boys have to admit to that. And I'll tell you, back in the 70s, my sister used to go to Camp Hiawatha here in the Grand Rapids area every summer. And unfortunately, back when I was 12, we had to bring her back too. But I used to get to spend a lot of time here in this part of the country. And the weather is going to be fair, although what we need is a little bit of rain. We got a little bit last night, but things are probably going to stay dry for much of the week ahead. Here's the current conditions from the Twin Ports region. At the moment, we're looking at temps going about 70 to 73, and looking at the bigger picture out here towards Highway 169, we're about 70 to 72 degrees here. So temperatures have come down since yesterday, and higher pressure taking over has really eased up the conditions. Big rains last night for parts of Wisconsin, big storms too, and even a tornado warning near Ashland. Half of an inch rain fell in my backyard rain gauge, and some towns did better, some towns did worse. Night planner shows we're not going to get any precip here tonight as conditions dry out once again, which is egging on some drought troubles. We'll show you a chart on that as the night goes on. Otherwise, partly cloudy tonight, low temperatures in the low 50s, pretty much par for the August course. Now, the forecast coming up, the 7-day is going to hold one day that's going to be pretty toasty, with temperatures getting close to 90 for a lot of places. We'll point that day out coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Dave. I think if it were to hit 90, I'd want to hop right in that lake there. It looks really nice tonight. Again, we're broadcasting from the Sugar Lake Lodge, which is in Cohasset, but just next door is Grand Rapids.
Yeah, that city is the junction of some major highways, such as U.S. Highway 2, which runs west toward Bemidji and east toward Duluth. That means a lot of traffic filters through downtown, and an eye-catching sight right off the highway is the historic Central School. Built back in 1895, the three-story building was a school for nearly 80 years. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1977 and was restored in the 80s. Now it's a multi-tenant location for commerce and community events.
And the Yellowbrook Road just so happens to run along Pokegama Avenue. Actress Judy Garland was born in Grand Rapids. Founded in 1975, there's now a museum in her name that houses a collection of items from the Wizard of Oz movie, including the original carriage featured in that movie. On the grounds, you'll also find Judy's 1920s restored home and the Children's Discovery Museum. We're told, on average, 25,000 people visit that museum every year. Incredible numbers.
Yeah, that place is very popular, as are some others around here, but there's also a few that you might not have heard of that are still must-visit spots.
Yeah, Northern News Now's Kendall Jarbo got a tour of Itasca County and found some hidden gems along the way.
Itasca County, located in the heart of northern Minnesota, is rich in history and recreation. I met up with Melissa Barr, president of the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, for the ultimate tour.
What a great place to be and a beautiful day to be here. So I thought we'd take our first stop would be up at the Reif Center. As you leave Grand Rapids going up 38, there's the Grand Rapids High School, and we have a beautiful art center that's attached at the high school, and there are a lot of activities year-round that happen there.
To the Reif we go. The Performing Arts Center features live music, theater, and dance.
All of these posters are shows we have coming up here this fall, and we do a variety, every kind of genre of music. We do theater, we do family shows.
The Reif's executive director, Chantel Dow, showed us all the bells and whistles, like their smaller studio theater, then the Wilcox Theater, which seats 700 and is bustling with youngsters practicing for their summer production. There's a scene shop and a dance wing, makeup area, dressing rooms, and all the costumes you could possibly imagine.
We have little, I know it's little goblin.
A state-of-the-art facility with tons of ways to be involved in the arts. Next, we visit the edge of the wilderness, which just so happens to be at the start of State Highway 38 in Grand Rapids.
This is the edge of the Wilderness Road. So it starts here, and there's 4 of these markers all the way to Effie.
Just shy of 50 miles long, loggers once used the route through the Chippewa National Forest. A majority has been reconstructed and offers everything from kayaking and snowshoeing to skiing and eating.
You start here on the Mississippi River. Yeah, and then you just take 38 up, and you will just see lakes and lakes and lakes and lakes and lakes.
Speaking of outdoor activities, just a short drive to the west will put you at Tioga Recreation Area in Cohasset with million-dollar views and excursions galore.
Mountain bike trails, huge, and they go all through the woods and the forest.
The former iron ore mining site now features trails that twist through the landscape, bringing visitors from all over.
And there's kayakers that come down in here and paddleboarding. And then there's just swimmers who just love, because it's a beautiful lake and it's clean and it's such a gem.
Our tour would not be complete without checking out some of the amazing art installations right along the Mississippi River. Sculptures pay tribute to the land and water, and these sunflower solar panels sure do make a statement. Murals adorn the sides of businesses, including the local coffee shop.
There's a lot of art to be seen throughout Grand Rapids.
Whether you enjoy pieces of art or the performing arts, outdoor recreation or scenic drives, there's something for everyone year-round in this slice of northern Minnesota.
Man, I'm impressed. Kendall really took us all over.
That was a great story.
It was.
Yeah.
And it just really scratches the surface, too, of everything that there is to do here in Itasca County. So much to do.
It's a lot to do. If you stop by the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce on 3rd Street, they'd love to tell you where you can go and check out some cool spots. Of course, you can also head to our website.
Still to come, how you can experience the life of a Grand Rapids logger.
Plus, how one local family tackles the responsibility of running a vacation resort.
We are back here in the Grand Rapids area, live and lakeside. You know, my Coast Guard Auxiliary Division that goes from Fargo to the Twin Ports and to Bayfield often does division meetings here in Grand Rapids, so all the units can meet in the middle. And so that's got me very interested in these boats here. Hopefully everybody getting out and sailing here tonight, whether it's on a boat or a paddlecraft, wears their life jacket. That remains the #1 safety tip. And swimming weather is going to be with us for a while longer because we've got a cool down today after yesterday's warm temperatures. But once we get into Saturday, that's going to be the hottest day of the week with 87, 88 possible in Duluth and probably even warmer inland. So now let us get into the maps and talk about the current temperatures. And for folks who don't like it so hot, it's much more tolerable. We're running from about 64 in my hometown of Ely to 70 in the Twin Ports to 69 degrees down towards Hayward. So it's a bit of a break again if you don't like it too hot and too humid, because that could be coming. What we have right now, though, air quality wise, is another set of alerts thanks to smoke from Canada. So folks with breathing troubles, do be cautious. Take your necessary precautions at least till Friday 11 p.m. for Minnesota, and in Wisconsin it may go till Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. So my fingers are crossed for you folks. All right, we take a look at the air quality forecast for tomorrow, and it's probably still going to be iffy, to be polite, for much of Minnesota, perhaps Wisconsin and Michigan too. The Arrowhead of Minnesota, Lake and Cook counties might have it just a little bit less bad. Moderate air quality worries there rather than really severe ones. Speaking of severe things, severe droughts covering a good portion of our region despite the rain that fell last night. We did get some good rain, though, in the extreme drought area of the South Shore because they got the biggest storms there. So hopefully when the drought monitor is updated, hopefully we've put a dent into the problem, because it's going to be a while before we get more rain. High pressure's got a hold of us now, keeping a low at bay and up to the north, and so that one's probably going to miss us through Saturday, and then fresh high pressure takes over on Sunday to keep things dry. We may have one chance of rain in the week ahead. Future temperatures, well, this is the short-term forecast here, roughly Friday afternoon, and we're looking at things tomorrow going towards maybe the mid to upper 70s. So we do start to warm up as early as tomorrow. And then the overnight low temperatures, not too bad Saturday morning, but Saturday afternoon's temperatures, yeah, there the heat is on. 87 degrees in Big Fork, 85 here in the Grand Rapids area, about 86 degrees over towards Gordon, Wisconsin, and even into the 80s for the Upper Peninsula. But that shouldn't last too long. We'll start to dial back down again. After dry conditions Friday, we got dry conditions and hot conditions Saturday. Then we get back into the 70s on Sunday. And for a rain chance, it looks like the only deal we're getting is going to be on Monday when it's a 20% chance for precipitation. So we get these dry spells for a couple of weeks and then a good dousing for one night. And that seems to keep the fire danger at least manageable. But what we really need is a true soaking. And it does not look like we're going to get one of those here this week. So if you're cautious outdoors, well, enjoy the sunny weather, get out and swim, get out and boat. But again, of course, don't forget that life jacket.
Good advice as always. Thank you, Dave. Well, hey, the timber industry has been linked with Northeast Minnesota for more than a century now.
Yeah, a local attraction in Grand Rapids is offering an up-close look at the life of a logger from years ago. The Forest History Center created a replica of what a logging camp looked like back in the early 1900s. The camp includes a bunkhouse, cook shack, a barn complete with draft horses, and many other buildings appropriate to the time period, too. According to site manager Pete Mall said, the workers were logging white pine. At the time, it was one of the most in-demand building materials in the country.
You know, built houses, banks, stores, and that's towns, and then that's kind of nation building. So a lot of the men were kind of aware of that and proud of the work they were doing, considering they were essentially somewhat building the nation at the time.
Now, if you visit the replica camp, you can hear the stories of the Northwoods lumberjacks told by costume guides. One of our reporters even stopped by for a closer look.
In addition to giving people a chance to step back into history, the center gives attendees a chance to experience life in a logging camp hands-on.
Very impressive effort from our Rob Coles and Alex Lytela there. History Center staff say the loggers were paid about $1 per day. The Forest History Center also offers kayaking, a horse-drawn trolley, a fire tower, and a visitor center, too. And if you need somewhere to rest after all that activity, a mainstay in the Grand Rapids area is the Timber Lake Lodge, right in the heart of the city. Along with hundreds of hotel rooms and an indoor pool and water park, they also offer special event spaces and a restaurant. The Ives family opened the Timber Lake Lodge in 2008. Not only do they want to serve their neighbors, but the many visitors the region welcomes too.
So there's just a lot to do in this community, and there's a lot going on. It's what people really enjoy when they come into our community. We're welcoming.
Timber Lake Lodge offers fun community events like Martini Mondays on their patio. Still to come, a local fishing guide talks about what makes the Grand Rapids area one of the best fishing spots in the state. Dan heads out with him on the boat.
All right, well, you remember Hunter McCullough at 4 o'clock caught a pike on live television, and then he challenged me, so now I have to try to catch something here. Even if I don't, it is beautiful out here. We are on Sugar Lake with Jeff Johnson from Northern Drift Outfitters. Thank you for bringing us out here.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
You've been a fishing guide here in the Grand Rapids area for how long?
For about 12 years. I grew up here, so I've been fishing here my whole life.
Yeah.
And the guiding kind of started with my teaching around here, and 4th grade school teacher, and do this in the summer, and couldn't be happier living in this area and the fishing opportunities we have.
I understand this is a really good walleye lake. How are we fishing right now?
Yeah, so we're kind of just pulling spinners next to the resort. You guys got me on a little time crunch here. But, you know, our lakes, generally speaking, this time of the year, if you know what to look for, the right kind of weeds, you can usually find some fish. Not always walleyes, but usually some action.
Yeah, absolutely. My experience fishing the Grand Rapids area has been just phenomenal lakes, always good walleyes, good multi-species, like you say. What makes this area so special for anglers?
You know, I think it's the work that our fisheries do. You know, they put a lot of time and effort into keeping our lakes healthy. And without that, I don't know that we could say the same things. So I give a lot of credit to them. And just our general area here, it's a fishy area. And if you don't get them on one lake, you got another one right down the road. So
absolutely. The ultimate land of sky blue waters here in the Grand Rapids area. I tell you what, I think the reason I haven't caught one yet and Hunter did, the wind has died down. I take no responsibility for my lack of fish right now. Would you agree Hunter got lucky?
Yeah, you know, and speaking about the wind, highlight with the Grand Rapids area is, especially for me as a guide, our area, you can find lakes that are out of the wind and still have really good fishing opportunities, and you just can't say that everywhere. So that's definitely a nice little attribute to this area.
It's a beautiful spot. Again, Hunter got me this time. I'll be back. I'm going to keep fishing this lake. I've been out with Jeff before, Northern Drift Outfitters, and we've caught walleye before. So this is a great lake, a place you definitely need to check out. We've got a lot more to do here on Sugar Lake. When we come back, we're going to show you how some colorful characters make some pasties. Stick with us.
Oh, welcome back to Lake Country. We are just about to wrap up our 5 o'clock broadcast here in Cohasset, but we still have tons more to show you tonight from the Grand Rapids area. Dan was supposed to be... Oh, I see him coming up the stairs. He's going to be joining me in a second here. He had to move after getting off that fishing boat, so he'll be here in just a second. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we've got a lot of really fun stories, including an introduction to a very comedic cook. Here comes Dan right now. Is he a little out of breath?
I'm okay.
Can you read this next story? You want me to take it?
You just take it.
Well, the very best food in a community can often be found in the least glamorous of buildings. We're going to show you an awesome pasty maker in Grand Rapids. All of that coming up tonight at 6. How was the fishing? Really quick.
It was good.
We'll see you at 6.
We'll see you at 6.